Now, I've said before in other videos that there are a handful of places that haven't changed in a super long time. Since I first joined Ponytown, they still haven't changed to this day in 2025. Now, those places are the barrel storage. They've remained exactly the same. Yes, the sprite for the barrel has changed, but this has not changed at all. They haven't replaced the barrels with other barrels, etc., etc. And then we have the carrot farm, which for some reason on this mini-map doesn't show the carrots, but this is a carrot farm. It also hasn't changed and is also very disappointing because it's just a spam of carrots on the ground. That's it. Then, of course, there's this pumpkin patch, which also hasn't changed in forever. For some reason, they just haven't changed these spots. Now, there's another couple of ones as well. There's also a pumpkin farm down here. During winter, they replace it with an ice maze. So we'll ignore this one for now. Maybe we'll come to it in another video or something like that, but we will be redesigning the other ones. Now there's another spot too, which is this swimming pool. And this swimming pool obviously hasn't changed in a handful of years. It hasn't been around as long as the other spots, but it's so disappointing and it doesn't look very good in my opinion. And so today we're gonna redesign every single one of these places in this video. That's what we're gonna do in today's video. If you guys wanna see me redesign some other things, let me know in the comments below. But for now, I'm gonna go into the game right here and we're gonna get started by redesigning these. It's gonna be a little bit of a speed paint kind of thing going on, and I'm gonna give some commentary over it. So get ready for that and let's jump right in. So right off the bat, we have to make sure that at the very least, all of the builds are the same size as they are on the main map. So I actually counted the spacing and the fencing and stuff like that so I can get the exact size for everything. I'll explain more of like the building process for some of these things as we get to the end. But for now, like one of my main rules is that everything would be the same size as it is in Ponytown. And honestly, the carrot farm, I don't say this later, but I may as well say it here. I kind of couldn't decide if I wanted them to be horizontal or vertical for this section. Because I actually had them vertical for a minute, and then I was like, damn, that sucks, and then I was like, whatever. Another thing, too, that I want to mention before we actually get to through the rest of the speed tour here, and that is, I actually have to sit here and admit to you guys that this actually took way longer than a couple of minutes to do each of these builds. I know I rant and rave about how easy it is to improve them, and honestly, I could have improved them in about a minute each, but I wanted to make sure that they're absolutely the best, so I gave as much time as possible on every single one of them. But there you go. Enjoy the rest of this speed build. Alright, so this is what the barrels currently look like in summer, at least as of 2024, and this is my redesign right here. This, honestly, in my opinion, I'm obviously biased because I built it myself, but honestly, genuinely think it is much better than the previous version. We have these lanterns here. Now, honestly, they obviously break like this, but obviously, if I was actually to design it myself and everything like that, I would obviously have access to the tools that they have access to, and it wouldn't clip weird like this. And honestly, I probably wouldn't even use these lanterns. I'd probably just use the regular lanterns and have them sit on top of that or whatever. But we have a variety of barrels here, which we didn't have previously. We obviously have some of our empty ones like we had before, but we also have some daffodil barrels, some closed barrels, some of these huge barrels, some with baskets in them, which honestly, they should be a barrel basket over here in barrel storage. You can tell that the town is indeed storing stuff here, whereas before it was just Well, just nothing. They're not storing anything but air, and now they're storing lots of stuff. I made myself a rule here, basically, and I said to myself, we can't have food-related barrel items here because we have the marketplace for that, for one, and I feel like food would spoil, and that would not be a good place to store it. Like, I don't think this would be a good place to store food, so we kind of got rid of the food stuff. But we have daffodil barrels here, and honestly, if we had more flower barrels, I would probably throw in a third flower barrel somewhere that would have the new flower barrels or something. I obviously did a little bit of the outside, and as you'll see, we did a little bit of that as well from some of the other builds. But yeah, this is just pretty much just a better design in my opinion. But let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and let's move on to the next thing. All right, and this is what the carrot farm currently looks like during summer, fall, etc., etc. It's just a bunch of carrots randomly thrown everywhere, and it just looks absolutely awful. It's just a bunch of spam, that's it. It does not look very good. And here we have now a redesign where we actually have them in rows. We have some trowels here and some pincers and stuff to get rid of all these weeds. We got some weeds in the carrots, that's insane. We have some soil bags up here too, some fertilizer, so to speak, some rakes and stuff. We have a couple of tools over here as well as some rope. I don't know why I thought rope would look good. It kind of does, I guess. It kind of matches. And this empty box over here, just pretend it's full of carrots. Or at the very least, pretend it's full of carrots during a certain season or something like that, because I feel like we should have a box just full of carrots or something. We have some other fertilizer and soil over here, and a water bucket with a water thing here, so you can pretend to water all of the crops. Currently, there is, like, the nearest watering can is, if we zoom out here, is all the way over here. That is the nearest watering can. Actually, there might be one over here somewhere. No, that is the nearest watering can. So if you wanted to roleplay and pretend to actually work on this farm, you have to travel from this corner of the map all the way to this corner of the map, and that's just no one likes doing that. That's a lot of walking just to pretend that you're picking carrots and watering carrots and stuff like that. Now, obviously, these would work the same way that they currently do in the game, where they grow at a certain rate, and then they reach a certain point, and then they can pick them up and eat them or whatever, and then they disappear and everything like that. But obviously, on my party island, I can't actually do that. So this, honestly, I think is a much better design. We have it set up so that when you enter, you don't immediately trample over some of the crops. So we have it kind of separated right here, so you can now go down here and pick up your tools, and you can walk along the grass to water them or pick them or whatever else like that, and you don't necessarily have to trample over your crops to do so. Honestly, it's so easy. It's so easy to just do something simple like this. It looks a lot better. Honestly, I really genuinely think a lot more people would probably hang out or interact with this carrot farm more if it looked something like this, especially since there's tools and stuff over here that you can immediately pick up and start using or pretend to use on the build and things like that. So next up, we have the pumpkin farm. Now again, I only wanted to do this pumpkin farm. There are more than one pumpkin farms in Ponytown, but I wanted to focus on this one specifically because it felt like the easiest one to interact with and stuff like that. But this is what it currently looks like, and it just looks like this year round, except maybe like winter and like during Halloween they change it a little bit. But it's mostly just pumpkins sitting in a farm or sitting in jail, I guess, and it's just terrible and it's ugly and it's very uninspiring. And now here is the redesign that I put together. We have vines here now. Obviously, if they were to do this themselves, they could make their own vine sprites and stuff like that, and it'd probably look a little bit better. But this is a very simple farm. We can actually walk around here, come around everywhere. We can pick our pumpkin, and it just looks much better. This is actually super simple and easy, and so I thought I wanted to decorate more of the outside of it, since the actual farm itself would be very easy to just redo. Now, they're not in rows. Technically, they're kind of in rows in real life pumpkin farms, but even those rows are kind of all over the place because you have like the vines, and the vines kind of stick out onto some of the rows and stuff. So I just figured I'd put down some vines and then put down some pumpkins on that. We have a couple of hay ghosts out here, and this jumble of dandelions, I just wanted some hay bales. Since we don't have hay bales, I figured I could just spam these and we could pretend they're hay bales, at least for the sake of this. And yeah, we could put some hay bales around here if that was an item in the game. We could put one over there, maybe one over here, something like that. We could put some over here in the corner or something like that. And of course, some pumpkins here that had already been picked, some of them carved even, that you can just pick up and you just buy them. We have a pamphlet box out here to kind of teach you or like share some information about some of the pumpkins and stuff like that. And honestly, I really wasn't sure what to include here, because every time I thought about it, I was just like, yeah, we just need hay bales. If I had some hay bales, I would throw some there or something, and it would look really good. But yeah, this is super simple and not much really to talk about in regards to that. So some of you probably don't even know, but there is a swimming pool in Ponytown. It's right here. This is a swimming pool. It's got a diving board. It's got a little hangout spot right here. It's a very weird shape. I don't know why they didn't make it square. Maybe that was intentional. Maybe they have some future plans with it or something like that. And genuinely, I hope they do. If you're curious of where it is, it's just right here next to the beach. But that's what it looks like currently all year round, even during like special seasons and stuff like that. I think it's like, I think they put a hay ghost here during Halloween or something like that. But this is my redesign. We have a diving board here. Obviously, I don't have access to the exact kind of like wood tiles that they do, but you could have that there. Boom. We have a swimming pool that is perfectly square, surrounded by tiles. Now, an interesting thing here too that I want to mention is I actually surrounded this in dark tiles and then another layer of light tiles. And the reason why I did that is because if you've ever been to a swimming pool before, like a public swimming pool or something to that effect, you know that the first like edges near the swimming pool itself are always like really dark because they're always wet, like because people are coming in and out of the pool and stuff like that. So it's just always wet. So the inside there is darker than the actual tile itself. I got to explain a lot with this one because there's some stuff that I had to like do because I don't have access to the right tools. These crystal lanterns here, we can have these be different colors and they can actually be clung to the edge of the wall. I think that would look really cool because then you can have some atmospheric lighting. Obviously, they don't necessarily have to be there, but I figured that is one idea that we could do, and we could have them be attached to the wall of the swimming pool or something, and it would look kind of interesting. At least in my opinion, I think it would. I would have to actually have the tools and test it to be sure, but I think it would look kind of interesting. Next up, I put some coconut drinks next to some tables because you cannot put coconut drinks on tables. So just pretend there's some coconut drinks on the tables, and we'll just that'll be that. Next up are the paper lanterns. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about them. I do feel like we should have some kind of rainbowish lights here because something about the swimming pool just feels like it should be full of a lot of color and life and stuff like that. So I just figured that could be an interesting thing there. Now I have a couple of these. I have one poster here and another one all the way over here by this entrance, and I just figured these could be like pool rules or something like that. You could even have it to where whenever you're hovering over it, it actually says like no diving or like no running or something to that effect or something like that. Now I had 4 entrances. I originally was going to just stick with 2, but I realized how annoying it is in Ash's Town where that big park area is, and it's just like a bunch of like fences and stuff like that, and it's really annoying to like walk to the edge or whatever. So I just figured I'd put 4 entrances directly across from each other and stuff like that. There's plenty of room to run around here. There's plenty of room to reach to the diving board. You can even easily make a line here or something, much better than you currently can where it's super cramped. Like there's not much room there. There's barely one tile between them. It just looks so much better in my opinion, and honestly this is probably my favorite out of these because I don't know what it is about it, but I just love swimming pools. I even made the outside areas a little bit nice here too by throwing in this big rock here and some bushes next to it and putting some of these decorative bushes inside the things there in the middle, in the corners. I mean, obviously change those out for any kind of decorative bush or plant or something like that, but I just thought these looked the nicest. The white fence also is really nice too because in my opinion it should just be a white fence around the swimming pool rather than just like the dark oak fence or whatever else like that, especially since looking at the map there's actually nowhere on the map that there is white fences. We have access to those in the game, like right here on the build island, on the party island, but we don't have them anywhere on the entire map. Nowhere on here. Like here's some fences, none of those are white. We have some fences over here around the swimming pool that's not white over here. None of them are white. We even have some rope ones here. No white fences anywhere on the map. If there is somewhere on the map and I'm just stupid and have overlooked it, please let me know in the comments below. But there's no white fences, and I think the swimming pool looks really good with white fences around it, so definitely make that a thing, Ponytown. Please take these ideas, please use them, or just let me go on there and do it myself or something, because it's very sad that these 4 places just haven't changed in a super long time, especially when they could look so much better and be so much better. But that's all I have here for you today. Let me know in the comments below which of these 4 redesigns were your favorites, what you would have done differently with a redesign, how you would have felt about different ideas and stuff like that I mentioned here. Just let me know all that stuff in the comments below. And for now, that's all I got for you. So please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that. Because when you do wonderful things like that, not only to get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself. And I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.